សម្ដេចព្រះសង្ឃរាជទាំងពីរគណៈជាទីគោរពសក្ការៈដ៏ខ្ពង់ខ្ពស់បំផុតសូមក្រាបថ្វាយបង្គំសម្ដេចព្រះសង្ឃនាយកសម្ដេចព្រះសង្ឃនាយករងសម្ដេចព្រះជាគណៈប្រធានធរៈគ្រប់ព្រះអង្គជាទីគោរពសក្ការៈសូមចម្រើនពរសម្ដេចទ្រង់ឯកឧត្តមលោកជំទាវអលោកលោកស្រីសាធុសប្បុរសប្រុសស្រីទាំងអស់ដែលសេចក្តីរាប់អានក្នុងព្រះធម៌ថ្ងៃនេះកម្មវិធីពុទ្ធសាសនាជាភាសាអង់គ្លេស program Buddhism in English ក៏បានត្រឡប់មកវិញក្នុងនាមបន្តនៅមេរៀនសូមនិយាយជាភាសាអង់គ្លេស My deep respect to His Holinesses the great supreme patriarchs of both Buddhist sects in Cambodia, the most venerable Sanghanayaka, Deputy Sanghanayaka, most venerable monks, dear lay devotees. Today is on the program Buddhism in English. I would like to present today topic of today is why Buddhists worship Buddha image. Anh zoom mà triệt để bạn người ăn say chụp này. So this is a question that many people, especially non-Buddhists, always ask why we Buddhists worship the Buddha image, like on the top there. Sorry, yeah, like there. Why we worship the Buddha image? And they also label the worshipping the Buddha image or Buddha statue as idol worship. They call idol worship. Idol worship. Ca Samdech Dr ឬក៏រូបពួក idol worship. For the non-Buddhists, especially the theistic religious followers, they call the worshipping the Buddha image or the Buddha statues as idol worship, and they say that it is not worth worshipping the image or the statues or the this kind of the sculpture even of the Buddha, because in their religion, theistic religion, particularly the Islam, they don't worship the image. Yeah. But why we Buddhists worship the Buddha image? That's a big question. We worship the Buddha image because of many reasons. Number one, the Buddha image represent the Buddha himself. So when we worship the Buddha image, we don't think of just stone or wood or the marble, but we think of worshipping the Buddha in reality, as if the Buddha was still alive. Because we see the Buddha image as the real representative of the Buddha himself. Especially, and the reason, second one, because we, the Buddhists, we take the image, the Buddha image, as a visual reflection upon the quality of the Buddha. Yeah. So when we worship the Buddha image, we take the image as a visual reflection upon the qualities of the Buddha. As we Buddhists, we know that the Buddha possessed here មានឬក៏ទ្រង់ Now we should notice that the spelling in the Romanized script, Buddha, we spell like this: Buddha. No. Is this the Romanized Pali? If in French it's called, in French we spell like this. Yeah, in French with O, another O, Buddha, Buddha. But we normally in English we spell like this: Buddha, Buddha. Yeah. And then Buddhism. Then Buddhism. Buddhism is the teaching of the Buddha, or the doctrine of the Buddha. Is Buddhism. Buddhism, teaching of the Buddha, doctrine of the Buddha. Then the follower of the Buddha called Buddhist here. This Buddhist Worship Buddhist, plural with S. So Buddhist, Buddhist is one person, then plural with S, Buddhist. Buddhist Worship or Buddhist followers. Yeah, the followers of the Buddha. Follower of the Buddha. So we worship the Buddha. We think of the Buddha as the Buddha image as real representative of the Buddha himself. Then second point, we take the Buddha image as a visual reflection, meaning to think of the qualities of the Buddha. There are a lot of qualities of the Buddha. As we Buddhists, we know, we always chant in homage to the Buddha, chanting. Yeah. Now I eradicate this, erase this. So we know that the Buddha possessed past tense, possessed many virtues. Virtue. Virtue. So here the virtues or qualities of the Buddha, there are countless qualities or virtues of the Buddha, but in the stanzas which we chant in appreciation or in homage to the Buddha, there are 9 qualities. There, Itepiso, Bhagava, Arahang, Samma Sambuddho, Vicha Charana Sampanno, Sukato, Lokavidu, Anuttaro, Purisadhamma Sarathi, Sattha Deva Manusanang, Buddho. Any question on the we cannot see any comment or question here on the a nice script. A nice script. Yeah. Now, the Buddha possessed a lot of qualities, as we chant in the stanzas paying homage to the Buddha. But here I would like to raise the 3 main virtues of the Buddha. Here for today lessons or topic, I would like to discuss about the 3 principal virtues of the Buddha. Number 1 is the virtue of wisdom. in Khmer we call Panya Kun. Yeah. So the Buddha possessed any persons in the world. I will speak English slowly so that those who don't speak English well or cannot catch the English well can try to understand. And if you have any question, can also comment here. I'll try to answer. I'm very sorry the internet interrupted or stopped, so we could not continue. Now we resume. The internet always cause problems. Now I would like to continue the qualities or virtues of the Buddha. The three principal qualities or virtues of the Buddha. Number one is the virtue of wisdom. Wisdom, Panya Kun. We worship the Buddha statue or image with the aims of worshipping or paying respect to the virtue of wisdom of the Buddha, because the Buddha possessed great wisdom unmatched by any teachers, any religious leaders. It is said even unmatched by the celestial beings or gods. So, number one, we pay our respect, deepest respect to the virtue of wisdom of the Buddha. Number two, the virtue of purity. Yeah. Parisotikun, the virtue of purity, purity, purified, throughout bodhisattva, purification, ការធ្វើឲ្យបរិសុទ្ធឬបន្សុទ្ធកម្ម this virtue of purity, សត្វគុណ we worship the Buddha image thinking of paying respect to the Buddha's virtue of purity. That's the main aim, because according to the canonical text or all Buddhist texts, គម្ពីរពុទ្ធសាសនានិងពុទ្ធប្រវត្តិ the biography of the Buddha, like this the life of the Buddha written by Bhikkhu Nyanamoli. That's a very deep book on the life of the Buddha.
And we know by the Buddhist text or canonical text that the Buddha possessed great virtue of purity. The Buddha was so pure in his words, his deeds, pure in words, in deeds, and speech. Yeah? The Buddha was very pure with words, in words, deeds, speech. He spoke only beneficial words, beneficial language, and he performed all good deeds for the sake of beings, humans as well as animals. Deeds and words and deeds, things and thought. Thought should be number one, because we think, then we speak, we act. But anyhow, okay. So all these three ways, thoughts, words, deeds, the Buddha very purified, unblemished by the worldly condition. So this is the purity of the Buddha. It's a great virtue. So this is the second virtue of the Buddha, called the virtue of purity. Then especially the virtue in three ways. គឺព្រះពុទ្ធមានភាពបរិសុទ្ធទាំង3ទ្វារ គឺទាំងការគិតទាំងការមានពុទ្ធដីកាហើយទាំងព្រះរាជសកម្មភាពព្រះពុទ្ធសកម្មភាពគឺមានភាពបរិសុទ្ធ That's why there is the attributes of the Buddha that the Buddha is yathakari, yathavadi, tathakari. Yeah. This the phrase or stanza which is always attributed to the Buddha, Yathavadi Tathakari, Yathakari Tathavadi. In Pali, in Khmer script, yeah, Yathavati Tathakari, Yathavati. The Buddha says what he does what he says. So this is the attribute of the Buddha, and it's very well known among students or researchers in Buddhism. Yathakari, Tathavadi, Tathakari, Yathakari, Tathavadi. It reflects or it shows the quality of purity of the Buddha that the Buddha possessed. The Buddhas never speak lies, never tell lies, and he never not only advise others to do, but he himself does it. He does what he says. He says what he does. He does what he says. This is very rare quality of any leaders or of any teacher. As you can see it or not. Number 3, have to go up. Yeah. Number 3, the virtue of compassion. The third quality or virtue of the Buddha is compassion. It is great compassion. And the compassion of the Buddha is so great that no compassion of any teacher, of any leaders can be equal to that of the Buddha. So that's called great compassion, Mahakaruna. the Buddha had great compassion for all beings, humans, animals, and even the celestial beings. Also, the Buddha had compassion for all. In the one discourse, the Buddha says that it is not that the Buddha doesn't love his family, his parents, his wife, his son, and his family members, but his compassion for all the beings in the world were greater than the love for his family members. So it goes to shows that the Buddha's compassion was so great, was unmatched, was boundless. Say boundless compassion. So we can translate in Khmer Karana at Prom 9. Yeah. Karana at Prom 9. Boundless compassion. Because the compassion of the Buddha was boundless, was no limit, limitless. He compassion for all the beings, humans, animals, celestial beings, all the beings in the divine world, in the celestial world, celestial realms. The Buddha showed compassion to them all. So this says boundless compassion. That's of the Buddha. That's so great. So for these three, we worship the Buddha. Buddhists worship the Buddha thinking of these three qualities, three great virtues. Number one, the virtue of wisdom. Number two, the virtue of purity. Number three, the virtue of compassion. This is very important when Buddhists worship the Buddha image, Buddha statue, the Buddha's sculpture. We think of these three qualities. Not only just the statue made of stone, made of marble, made of wood, or made of cement, but of the three qualities. So that's the answer to why Buddhists worship the Buddha image. Yeah? Why Buddhists worship the Buddha image. Why Buddhists worship the Buddha image? So, I think you all can understand that we worship the Buddha image, thinking of these three great qualities and other virtues of the Buddha. The Buddha also special characteristics. Special characteristic. The Buddha also possessed other. The other qualities of the Buddha, there's 32 special characteristics. We call Tvatangsa Kara, or Akara Samdech. There's also the qualities of Kunathua, Kun, the Buddha possessed, and also the Buddha also has this 108 we call the qualities, another 108 qualities of the Buddha. Of his feature, 108 feature. The Buddha physical body. So because of all this, we Buddhists pay homage or respect to the Buddha statue, the Buddha image, the Buddha sculpture, because we respect these three great qualities. So I think today is this enough for us, and we have learned all this, especially the topic that why Buddhists worship the Buddha image, and we learn that we are not senseless idol worship, or we are not worshipping just for the sake of worship, but we think of the qualities of or virtues of the Buddha. That's why we worship the Buddha image or Buddha statue. Thank you.